Alright, YouTube, welcome. In this video, I want to talk about how it's not necessarily what you eat, it's what you choose not to eat. A lot of people, when they get into the whole health thing, they focus so much about what they can start consuming. So when I first got into health, I was all about just getting a broad spectrum of different herbs and supplements and teas, and I really kind of overdosed myself on consumption. And although I experienced some pretty amazing results from putting all this new stuff into my system, it took me years to discover, or not necessarily years, it took me a while to discover that it wasn't necessarily what I was putting into my system, although that did have a lot of power. It was what I was taking out of my system that was really producing a lot of the results. Once I started getting rid of all the junk food out of my lifestyle, my skin cleared up. I lost 100 pounds in about a year. I felt stronger. I felt leaner because I was leaner. My mind was operating on a much higher level. My reflexes became just lightning fast. I'm still amazed at how quick my reflexes are. They seem to be getting faster and faster every day, every week. It's just, what's interesting now with my health is that it's like a progression, whereas when I was younger, when I was eating all the standard American foods and whatnot, I constantly thought, okay, you know, each day I'm getting a little bit older, and, you know, every year that went by when my birthday came around, I would kind of dwell on the fact that I was getting older, and it was just this negative kind of algorithm. Once I started getting healthier, once I let go of all the junk food and started gearing myself towards a healthier lifestyle, my outlook on life really changed and my perspective became much bigger. Each year that passes, I view myself as getting younger and achieving more youth, achieving more health. I'm reversing a lot of the damage that I did when I was younger by due to the fact that I'm living a lifestyle that promotes expansion on physical levels, mental levels, emotional levels, and spiritual levels. It's like each day is a day of making up for lost time that I wasted in the past when I was eating all the junk. And food directly affects every aspect of our lives, ladies and gentlemen, the spiritual, the physical, the mental, and the emotional. So again, when I first got into the whole health thing, I became just obsessed with, okay, I need this tea, I need that. I became like obsessed with sitting on Amazon.com and reading reviews about all these different herbal products and okay, maybe I'll try this one, and I would just put all this stuff in my cart, and at times there would be like $500 worth of stuff in my cart when I was done looking, and then I would go through my cart and check off ones that seemed kind of intuitively like maybe I'll try that later, and I began experimenting with all these different herbs. And I did experience massive results with those, you guys, but it was predicated upon the fact that I was using those in conjunction with the fact that I had let go of a lot of the junk that I was eating prior. When I was younger, I was eating a lot of cheese, I was eating a lot of bread, I was eating a lot of meat, I was eating a lot of ham and turkey. Every day I was doing this. Eating dairy products, drinking all the milk, clogging up my lymphatic system, coagulating my cell communication. When I was younger, I was rather hopeless. I didn't have a very expansive outlook on life. Things were kind of dismal. I just didn't have the type of mindset that I have now, where I'm more, not necessarily optimistic, it's just that life is much more engaging. Nature is much more engaging than it used to be. When I was younger, when I was still deeply rooted in the Matrix, and I had the different programs of the Matrix installed in my consciousness and my neural networks, nature wasn't that interesting to me. I was more obsessed with, you know, making money and just kind of egoism, so to speak. I was really interested in my social status and just trying to be the cool kid, so to speak. It wasn't until I let go of my programming and I really started with my caloric restriction and putting more natural elements into my system that I really started to see nature for what it was. You see, nature, these natural foods, they are different wavelengths of the color spectrum. They are different wavelengths of natural energy, and by putting those forms of natural energy into your system, you begin to rebuild the components of your physiology and your consciousness predicated upon the nutritional constituents in those natural elements. I hope that makes sense. But I'm kind of getting off subject. When I let go of the animal products, I really started to do, became obsessed with caloric restriction. I stopped eating breakfast. I stopped eating breakfast for, I actually had stopped eating breakfast for quite a while before I even got into veganism and raw foodism and all these different isms. Excuse me. I was never much of a breakfast eater, and that started about freshman year in high school. But once I got into the whole health thing, I stopped eating lunch, and then I was doing kind of a large meal at night, and then throughout the night, a few hours after I would eat my large meal, I would just kind of snack here and there. I experienced tremendous benefits from that. By letting go of certain foods and not eating so much, you allow your body time to regenerate, because if you're constantly putting food into your system, it requires massive amounts of energy for those foods to be broken down inside your physiology. So it's not necessarily what you put into your system, although that's crucial. But imagine it this way. Imagine if you were eating a standard American diet: cheeseburgers, french fries, pizzas, milk products, ice cream. And then at the end of the day, you had a smoothie with like cacao in it and maca and a bunch of healthy stuff. Don't you think that that milkshake or that healthy smoothie would be much better for you if you were consuming that after a day of fasting? Or maybe just a day of light eating with like some watermelon here or there, or some really healthy, wholesome foods? When you fill your pipes full of stuff all the time, your body is more focused on eliminating the stuff than it is receiving information from it. So when you prime your body for nutrition by emptying your vessel and fasting and really regenerating your tissues and cleaning up your act when it comes to what you put into your system, by priming your system for consumption, if you eat a healthy smoothie when you're actually hungry, it's going to go into your system so much more efficiently and affect you in such a different way, as opposed to if you were to eat it after. It's like a lot of people, they have this mentality where they'll eat all the junk food, but they think that just by having one, I had a salad today, I'm getting healthier, or, I had a smoothie after dinner with blueberries in it, I'm getting healthier. It's like, no. In fact, if you consume health food on top of all the junk food, you're just creating more stress within your system, more advanced glycation end products. You're just destroying your system. It's not necessarily about what you put into your system, because only when you get the vessel primed for nutrition can you absorb the nutrition from food, ladies and gentlemen. It's like a sponge. Let's put it this way. You have a dry sponge, a brand new sponge, and you drop it into some water. It's going to absorb all that water. Now let's look at our body like a sponge. If your body was ready for nutrition, it would absorb those constituents like a sponge that was dry, filling full of water. Whereas opposed to the, excuse me, now I would say that your body is like a wet sponge, completely full of water. And then you throw it into a solution of water. Is it going to absorb a lot of water? Or is it already full of water? I hope that makes sense. By getting the body ready for nutrition, by healthy forms of caloric restriction, when you eat foods, you download the information from those foods much more readily and efficiently into your system. They get driven into the system much more rapidly, and you can feel it. When you're truly hungry and you drink something like a smoothie, or when you have a smoothie full of blue-green algae and some amino acids and this and that, when you consume that, when you're truly hungry, you will feel it crawl through your system and actually like rebuild your system. It's the most interesting phenomenon to actually eat when you're truly hungry. And most people here in the West have never really truly been hungry. Most people have never missed a meal. And if they did miss a meal, they fought, kicked, and screamed, and I'm starving, I'm getting cranky, I need food. Those are the parasites calling you. In fact, skipping a meal, in my opinion, can be one of the healthiest things you've ever done. But you should see how people how their mentality changes when they don't get their daily fix. It's like, man, I didn't eat breakfast, I didn't have lunch, I'm going crazy, man, I'm so hungry, I'm starving. Meanwhile, I can go 7 days without eating and not truly get hungry once. Sure, I'll want to bite into something. My mouth is hungry, my sensation is hungry, but my body isn't actually hungry. My body thanks me when I fast. I feel so much better when I fast. I'm amazed at how much garbage I eliminate from my system when I fast. Garbage that would have never come out if I was continuing to eat constantly throughout the day or having these large meals every night. Again, it's amazing to witness how people react to missing one meal. Not to mention if they miss 2 meals. I mean, you got to think most people have eaten 3 cooked, denatured, mineral depleted, enzyme devoid foods since they were young enough to actually chew. Since they were capable of chewing and masticating through solid foods. So it would be like someone who drinks alcohol every day. If they missed a day, they might go through withdrawals. They might go crazy. They're going to really want that alcohol. It's the same with food. You see, people seem to think that foods aren't addictive. Most of the time when people are telling you that they're hungry, they're actually thirsty. That hunger sensation is a false signal from a programmed body that's become accustomed to consuming excessive amounts of food. Just like an individual who drinks caffeine on a daily basis, if they don't get their caffeine fix, they get a headache. Whereas if someone doesn't get their daily fix in the form of food, they'll get cranky, their stomach might... See, the weird thing about hunger, you guys, is that there's genuine hunger and there's false signal hunger. Most people are experiencing false signal hunger. And I work through this when I fast, where I'll be fasting and food sounds good, but it's just the taste of the food that sounds good. My body doesn't actually need it. So I'll work through that while I'm fasting, and if you work through that emotion, it eventually goes away, and you don't want food anymore. You feel good fasting. Your body's rewarding you with feelings of pleasure because your body's regenerating. But when I'm fasting, I'll get these kind of feelings in my gut where I will feel what most people regard as what it feels like to be hungry. But it dissipates very rapidly. 5 to 10 minutes of that sensation, if I just sit with it, it goes away and I'm not even hungry. It'll go away if I drink some water. Just have a couple sips of water. And I sit with it and it dissipates. So most people equate that false signal of being hungry as actually being hungry. When you're not hungry, and even if you were hungry, chances are you don't even know how to fuel yourself, because the people who say that they're hungry all the time are the ones that are continuing to put all the bologna and the processed deli meats and all the bread into their system. Even if you were hungry, you're not really getting anything out of those foods that you're eating. You'd be better off utilizing caloric restriction and putting the correct foods in your system. Anyways, you guys, I want to wrap this one up. I kind of got off subject. For hours and hours and hours of bonus material that you will never find here on the public YouTube channel, please go over to www.patreon.com/Sacred Serpent and consider becoming a daily paid monthly monthly subscriber to my my website. It's a donation to me, and in doing so, I give you a ton of content in response to that. Apparently, my mouth cannot keep up with my mind today. But again, www.patreon.com/Sacred Serpent. It's a paid subscription. It's an extension. It's an expansion pack to the public YouTube channel where there are multiple hours, tons and tons of hours of private video content that, again, you'll never find here on the public YouTube channel. It also gives you direct access to me through private messenger. There's picture posts, polls. I post articles on there. There's 5 different reward options. There's 5 different membership options. There's a $5 one, a $15 one, and upward. So if you're interested in supporting my cause, please head over to that website and take a look through the membership options, because the $5 subscription may not have the benefits that you want. That may just go over there and check it out. I'm going to wrap this one up because my mouth cannot keep up with my mind. On behalf of your health, on behalf of the worldwide reawakening of the Kundalini energy and the destruction of the Archonic Matrix, may peace be with you all. And please hit the subscribe button if you are interested in frequent updates. Hit the like button if you like this video. Leave comments, and please network my content around if you found this information beneficial. Sharing is caring, and I'm doing my best to try to get my message to the greatest or the biggest audience that I can. Peace be with you all. Thank you for watching. I hope that my channel and my messages, my passion, you name it, can inspire you today to take better care of your health. There's nothing more important than taking daily steps towards greater health. Health impacts every part of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Physical, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, you name it. It addresses every part of our lives. Health is indeed the divine foundation that we need to have so that we can achieve the life that we want. This is Lord Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, and I hope that the obstacles in your life, if you have them, can clear, and that you can attain your heart's desire. I do indeed hope that we can achieve a greater state of being here in this world. We weren't designed to have to deal with all this insanity here in this world, and I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, that if we take greater steps towards our health and we envision a greater world, we can get closer to achieving that. So I just wanted to wrap this one up with a thank you, and until next time, peace be with you all.